Okay, welcome to video 1, Understanding Territories by Urban Forex. Now, in some of the previous chapters, I had mentioned to you that your ranges or your sideways movement or consolidations are going to be your best friends. Okay, so we want to start looking at this in terms of territories. So now, what is territories? Okay, you need to understand where you're playing in the field. In this particular example, I have deliberately left out the time frame or the date or the price. I want you to purely focus on the chart that's in front of you. Okay, so what that means is, let me give you an example. Okay, many of you guys must have heard of Area 51. Okay, there is a little compound, or let's say the White House. Okay, the White House has this compound there. Now, this is their territory, basically. Inside that territory, you're not allowed to do stuff that might cause them issues. For example, you can have a protest out here and no one will say anything to you. But if you take the protest inside their territory, the chances are you're going to be arrested or maybe even get shot, right? So this is basically what it means by if you understand where your territory is, then you want to avoid going against it. Okay? So in this particular case, what we're looking at is, since we have a hold in the market here, after that hold, the market starts to continue going down. Okay? So from that hold, as he starts going down and down and down, doesn't it look like, hey, there's a little bit of a hold here? Okay, I want you to ignore those little tiny ones. Okay, we call them blips. Something that doesn't really make sense. It's just a little tiny hiccup. Okay, so it's going through. Just imagine as if you were completely stopped here as a car and then you started driving. You might have a little speed bump here and there, but you're still driving. It is only until this area you start to say, okay, I'm done. Right? So once it starts going sideways again, your movement from here to here has now built what we call seller's territory. Okay? This is now your territory from this high point to this low point. Okay? Now, as long as you're within that territory, you belong to the sellers. Okay? Which means that this move up is not for buying. This move up is not for buying. It belongs to that seller. Okay? So this is basically the protests that happen inside of that get in trouble. Right? So anyone looking to buy these things are going to get into trouble and they get smacked down very, very aggressively. And that causes losses. So having a knowledge of where is my territory is very important. Now, there's a lot of questions that might be going through your head right now thinking, okay, I can understand that, Naveen, what you're saying about territories, but how many candles far back do I need to look? How do I know that this is not a new territory going up versus this one going down? So you want to look at it in terms of what has happened in your trading day. Okay, so let's say you're trading on the 15 minutes and you're seeing on the 15 minutes after a range, the markets opened up, a brand new market opened up and they started moving. Okay? And then they started halting here before the next market opened up. That is a trading session right there. That's a whole move right there. That's happened during busy hours. Okay? And then what this determines, if this is real or not, will determine the time of day. So let's say all this is happening during the dead hours. The dead hours means between when New York closes and Asia opens. No one's trading at that time. No banks are open. No one's around. Only scalpers are around, and anyone who's trying to make profit from an EA are trying to try their luck at that time, right? So all those little players are around trying to make a quick buck. Okay? No real movement, no bankers are around. Okay, so that can happen. As the markets get ready to open up the next day, markets move back up, and these players are hot again. And they just get ready to pound them back down, because for them, it's Thank you very much for getting me a better price. I didn't want to sell at these horrible prices anymore. Thank you for willing to buy it at a much higher price. Now I can sell it for a better profit. Okay? While the smaller player is thinking, oh my goodness, it's an uptrend. It's a buy. It's a buy, buy, buy. So having this knowledge of territories changes the way you're supposed to be trading. You understand which playground you belong to. Similarly, as a buyer's territory is here. As the market goes sideways in here, okay, it's a pretty big size. You can even take this one here. Okay, as the market goes sideways, it then starts to travel going all the way to the north, and it slows down in this area here. Okay, it slows down in this area. This is now your buyer's territory, going from this low point, more or less, to this high point, more or less. Until you are within this territory, you belong to the buyers. Okay, the market belongs to the buyers until it congests, goes through it, and it starts going the other way. Then the market then shifts directions. But until it doesn't shift directions, the mentality should stay in one area only. It is for a buy, it is for a buy, even this is for a buy. Okay, that mentality will help you. This is just technicals, okay? I want you to understand technical analysis is the final piece to your trading. It is not the first piece, it is not the reason why you enter, it is at the end of it all. Okay? Which means your priorities go to your fundamentals. Your priorities go to your analysis, your reading of the market. And then once you know, okay, I know what to do, you then use your technical analysis to see, can I find a spot to get in? Okay? So technical analysis is the final stage of you pulling the trigger. That's all it is. It is not a beginning stage. You don't look at your charts and be like, today there's a good trade. No. That's very dangerous. That's very, very dangerous. Okay? So now, let's move on to the next video where we can start to understand what makes a territory. How does a territory get developed?